Welcome back to the Encore Audio YouTube channel. I'm Taper Dave, and this is my channel. My first group that I ever recorded was Underearners Anonymous. A friend of mine, Frank Brigiotti, who's on my channel, he passed away some time ago. He had some kind of cancer, but Frank was a great guy. He wanted to try to change my name from Taper Dave to Digital Dave. I've still got the shirt, the South Bay Roundup shirt, in my closet that he had embroidered Digital Dave. But he asked me if I wouldn't mind recording this group, Underearners Anonymous, and I said, sure, I'll record anything anonymous. So here you go. Enjoy, comment, and don't forget to like and subscribe, whatever you do. Be sure to like and subscribe to my channel. That helps me out a lot. Doesn't cost you a thing. Just click on the like button. You have a good day if you want to. Take care.
Good morning. Let's begin with the Serenity Prayer. God, grant us serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Today, we're going to be focusing on steps 6 and 7. But before we do that, one of the suggestions I had yesterday is that if we were angered by someone or made afraid by someone yesterday, we would pray for their health, wealth, and prosperity. And I wonder if anyone would have any examples if that happened in their life. Yeah. Go to the mic.
I had someone ask me yesterday if I worked here. And it wasn't a joke. And if it was a joke, it wasn't funny. I felt it was directed, demeaning, and targeted. And I'm aware that I still hold that resentment towards him now. I felt it was incredibly disrespectful. But what I'm aware of in me is that whether all of that is true or not, the person who is blocked is me. It's me. But I also feel angry because I don't feel able to tell him I'm angry. So I feel a double bind.
Did you pray for his health, welfare, and prosperity?
No, not a bit of it.
You see, that was the suggestion. That was the idea.
I know. Yeah.
See, that would have made you feel better when you woke up today. You see, now you woke up today and you got that pebble in your shoe, right?
A boulder.
Boulder. And it happened to me. Yesterday I was talking to someone who I know, and he said, well, boy, whenever I give you something, a document is like a black hole. And I immediately prayed for his health, welfare, prosperity, joy, commitment. And I woke up today and wanted to kill him anyway. No, No, I did. I felt a lot better. I always feel a lot better because that's what it does. It just clears. You see, the thing is that step 4 and 5 is like this big channel. And when we get into stuff like what Bella or I just talked about, it clogs it up. And when it clogs it up, great, prosperous spiritual energy can flow through it. And that's why step 4 and 5 are so important, because it's like having a spiritual colonic.
Oh, goody.
You're not going to forget that one, guys.
Oh, good. So I had something happen because I'm not a very angry person, or, personality-wise, it's a defect. And so this morning, only just now, I realized that I had, it was an overall thing, but then I focused on one as my, about being interrupted, and in this whole voting process, there was one person that kept doing the same thing. And I was simply annoyed. That's not angry, annoyed. And so I'm taking this morning and praying for that one that I singled out. There were a number of people who kept doing the same thing, including myself probably. And so the babies of anger and resentment, the babies that can trickle down and be cunning, baffling, and powerful.
Okay, and it's always best to do at the moment. At the moment, because what you're doing is you're feeling that channel begin to fill up with sediment. Okay, let me just pray for him and release it, close, open it up again. So it's like a daily part of what we talk about, a daily maintenance of our spiritual recovery, is to just keep that channel open in real time, right now, in real time. So we're not waiting for tonight or tomorrow. We're saying, he said, Andrew, you're a blah 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 blah. I said, okay, and in my head, I pray for your health, wealth, prosperity, and joy. May you have a great life, great abundance. And guess what? I'm practicing step 4. I'm practicing the vigilance, which is step 10, which is to look around, see what's going on with that fear and anger. Step 11, tune into God, and God, please remove this resentment from me. And this is a sick person. And I need to, you see, the thing is, we cannot afford any more resentment because we've been through so much garbage in our lives growing up with alcoholic parents, mentally ill parents, psychotic relatives, bad relationships that came out of our sicko bad childhood, that we're done. We can't afford any more resentments. We can't. We don't have the budget for it. And that's why you may think you may have the budget for it, but if you say that, I'll say keep coming back. We have to let that channel be open to joy, peace, and prosperity. And the only way we can do that is by doing something that's counterintuitive. What do we want to do? We want to curse the bastard out. That doesn't work. It just actually is like taking a wound and inflaming it. So we always have to come back to pray for his health, wealth, prosperity, peace, and joy. And maybe once a day, maybe 20 times a day. In the moment, in real time. Go ahead.
Good morning. I'm Daryl, Underearner. And this happened yesterday in the middle of our voting. And an issue came up. And right at that point, I realized that I could not vote because I was blocked with resentment. And what I did is I went into the bathroom, got down on my knees, and I prayed. And I asked God to take away this resentment because I could not be a good member, a GSR, or anything if I was full of resentment. I could not make a wise decision on who to vote for. And I prayed for this person's prosperity, health, wealth, whatever, and just gave her as much energy of positivity as I could. And I came out and I was able to vote clearly. Now, it also broke open a part in me that realized there is more healing here to be done. And I know that it goes into deeper places, and I will deal with that. But this is a process that is so freeing. So, yes, somebody comes up, pray first, have God remove this character defect, and then amends.
Okay, thank you very much. And again, it's about praying for someone's health, wealth, and prosperity in real time, to not clog up the channel, because that's what the resentments will do. We cannot afford any more than we have. Hi, Peter.
Hi, Peter, Darren Underearner. And several times in this conference, I got really bogged down in why is everyone not paying attention to the time? Why is everyone disrupting everything? Why is everyone rejecting these ideas that are in front of them? Why is everybody doing this stuff? And I realized I got a handy list that someone made of what was going on. Time indifference, idea deflection, compulsive need to prove, clinging to useless possessions, exertion exhaustion, giving away our time, undervaluing, underpricing, isolation, physical ailments, misplaced guilt or shame, no following up, stability, boredom. And I just turned it over to God. We're here because we're underearners. It's not going to be a surprise to me, it cannot be a surprise to me if we, including me, all act like underearners. And it's a very difficult lesson for me. It's like, okay, we've got all these tools to recover. Why isn't everyone recovering right now? But your recovery has nothing to do with me. My recovery is to do with me. I can't control you. I can't control anybody else. I can control my thoughts. I can control my actions. And that's still really difficult for me to learn and to understand and to remember. And, it's through the Serenity Prayer, it's through turning this stuff over to God on a constant basis that I can get through this. Okay, thank you.
So when do we pray for people that are pissing us off? When? In the moment. Because we want to unblock what? Right. And so the next week they will wake up and feel good. That's right. Yeah. Thank you, Peter. I need your prayer.
Hey, my name's Crystal.
Hey, Crystal.
The only thing I wanted to add to this is that the act of praying for someone else while you're experiencing this anger or resentment for this person is the act of practicing compassion, which is one of the things that I've learned in this program, to have compassion for myself, for the people of my past that have hurt me. My higher power is one of love and compassion. And when I'm acting as like one of my higher powers entities, then I'm more in sync, in harmony with my higher powers.
Okay, thank you.
I'm Eric, and I have a half-serious question. So
You have a half-serious question?
Yeah.
Well, I have a half-funny answer.
All right. So if I want people to pray for me more, should I act like an asshole?
Right. Well, the reason why we act like there is an answer to that, and the reason why we act like assholes is because of fear, self-seeking, selfishness, dishonesty, and inconsideration. So that was all about step 4. Okay. What are the principles of the first 5 steps? Okay. And what are the 5 character defects? Okay, you get 100% on that test. 100%. Now we have 2 new principles. The principle of step 6 is belief. It's willingness. Became entirely willing to have God remove these defects of character. Became entirely willing to have God remove these defects of character. That's the principle is willingness. The principle of step 7 is change. Humbly ask God to remove our shortcomings. Now, what's the difference between a shortcoming and a character defect? Well, Bill Wilson said he just wanted a different words. But you could also say that the shortcomings come from becoming a rageaholic, becoming a perfectionist, becoming a control freak, becoming codependent, becoming alanic, turning away from your feelings. So, because here's the thing, those 5 character defects will trigger a lot of these shortcoming behaviors. Well, I like George, but he's got a real quick temper. Well, why does he have a quick temper? Well, it's from character defects. So that's why it's important for us to keep focused on those 5 character defects at all times. Because if we get into pride, we've gotten off the beam. If we've gotten into anger, we've gotten off the beam. We haven't gotten to the root of the matter. The root of a C chord is the note C. It isn't E, it isn't G, it's C. The root of an A chord is A. So we need to think in terms of what the root, what 5 roots of behavior are we looking at every day? Because remember, anyone here on Sunday, we're going to be talking about step 10, 11, and 12, and it's very simply what I asked you to do yesterday was 10 and 11. When you prayed for anyone yesterday, you were practicing step 10 and 11. Step 10 is vigilance, to look around. Where's that anger, fear coming from? Step 11 is attunement, tune into God. Please, I pray for him. That's what we're doing. If someone's cutting you off on the thruway and you want to curse them out, and you're saying, I pray for that motorist in front of me, how much more spiritual can you get? It's one thing to get some incense and to, sit in a room and listen to Renaissance music, but that's the easier and softer way. That doesn't really produce any growth. It's nice, it's solace. But so is a waterfall. But listening to a waterfall, or wind chimes blowing against sitar music, or Yanni, that's solace. Praying for someone who just said, you look a little older than I thought. You sounded a little younger on the phone, Have a good day. Nice seeing you again. Okay, at that point, we've got immediate resentment. Immediate. There's no question about it. We have that anger. It's coursing through our veins. And that person's walked away, and there we are. God, I pray for that person. May they have a great life. With peace, prosperity, happiness. May thy will be done, thy will be done, thy will be done. Because we're sitting there with a really rotten, unemotional condition at that moment. And normally what we would do, we'd go out and drink. Maybe we'd beat ourselves up. Man, I should be looking younger. Maybe we should, maybe we're going to go and, use food to totally numb out that feeling. Use booze. Use television. I'm just going to go and, watch really bad television for 3 hours. That type of television watching is a drug. I'm going to go on the internet for 5 hours. So what we're doing there is we're trying to get out of self. As the person said, we look older than they thought we were. And so what character defects are hit when they said, oh, you don't look as young as I thought you were, or you sounded. You sound a lot younger than you are. What character defects? I'm not talking about your person. It's just an example. What character defects are hit? Right? Fear, self-seeking, selfishness. We're being maybe dishonest to ourselves at that point. Maybe we don't look as young as we used to. I don't. I'm getting older every year. Damn it. So that's which leads us to step 6. Step 6 is become entirely willing to have God remove these defects of character. But is God going to do that automatically? In other words, let's say we've done step 4 and 5. We worked really hard with a sponsor, and we listed 80 examples of sexual conduct that went bad. We listed 80, 90 fears. We listed 100 resentments. It took us 3 months to do it. 3 months to do it. Every day we woke up, we felt like we were having like a quart of wheatgrass. So, God, thank God that's over. Thank God. So, are we now, God, okay, I did my 2 months of step 4 and 5. How about, so my defects of character being willing to be removed? No, it's not going to happen that way. It's going to happen through practice, the way we practice a musical instrument, the way we're talking about yesterday. We practice, became entirely willing. No one is entirely willing. And Bill Wilson talks about in the 12 and 12 is that we hang on to our character defects because why? We like them too much. We like them too much. And so we hang on to them. One of the things that, by working the John McHugh book, he talked about by practicing here's another example, is that if we're going to buy a new car, what's the first thing we do? Someone tell me. If we buy a new car, what's the first thing we do? Anybody? Research. Okay, anybody else? No. The first thing we do before we buy a new car is we decided to let go of the old car. So our ways of thinking, especially under earning, oh, I'll just take that job, whatever it pays. It just gets me out of the house. We have to let go of that. We're letting go of the old car. The old car is our crappy, under-earning thinking decisions which were fueled by our 5 character defects of fear, self-seeking. We're just going to go through the list again. So as long as we're saying we could put some tires on the old car, we could take it in, get the engine worked on, we can maybe stick in a new transmission, we'll get it from a junkyard for $500, then guess what? We're not ready to get rid of the old car. That old car is like our old thinking and behavior in terms of this addiction. In AA, it would be about, screw it, my wife yelled at me, I'm going to spend the whole night in the bar. In OA, my boss ran me out. Hell, man, I'm gonna go and get a triple course Italian dinner tonight. And Gamblers Anonymous, she said that to me. I'm spending the whole day at the racetrack. So that's the old car thinking. In UA, hey, what are your costs on this job? I don't know. Let's wing it. Let's just find out. We'll go and make a bid. Or do you think we can get a raise? Yeah, look, after taxes, what is that raise going to be anyway? See, that's old car thinking. Hey, you know what? You think it's too late for you to be an actor? Nah, I'm too old. You're still breathing and living? Yeah. So all of the and everyone has their own examples of under-earning thinking. So one of the things I want you to do is write 10 examples of under-earning thinking and choices. And it could be like, hey, why don't you go out and get a job? Job? I'm 50 years old. They're not hiring people over 50. See, that's an old car thought. Hey, why don't you go out and get a job? Oh, they always say I'm overqualified. So that type of garbage doesn't help us. And that type of thinking got us here. I mean, under-earning is really a disease of thinking. We're not drinking anything. We're not eating anything. It's about thinking and it's the feelings and thoughts that are created from our 5 character defects and having a blocked channel, which cause us to, hey, you're a very talented painter. Why don't you take your paintings and call up 10 galleries in the next month and see if you can get an exhibition? Yeah. Listen, I'm really not feeling that well now. Let's talk about it next week. And of course, next week becomes next year. The year after that, you're dead. And all of a sudden, on the day of your death, you've got paintings in a closet that were never shown. How sad is that? You really are a great writer. You could do some technical writing for a business and make $150,000 a year. Yeah, but the technology has changed. The technology has changed, and my type of writing is a little more organic in a holistic way. In other words, this is stuff that idea deflection comes out of these 5 character defects. Anyone in the UA who's getting involved with idea deflection does an imitation of a goat. Hey, you want to become a IT consultant? Nah. Hey, you really would be a great actor. Nah. That book of philosophy really should be published. It has some very trenchant insights. Nah. So all of this stuff is what Bill Wilson talks about in this addiction of our defects of character, causing very bad thought processes and very bad actions or very bad inactions. Our shortcomings, you could also say, is what you've heard on the hiding and biting meeting, where someone says, hey, why don't you do some reality TV? I'm an actor. I don't do reality TV. So all those examples that you hear on UA calls are based on when anyone is sharing about the mess in a UA meeting, they're talking about their 5 defects of character and their shortcomings and how they're holding on to them and how their definition of reality, how their definition of prosperity is just condensed to this very small, dark, gray consciousness. So what I'd like you to do is write 10 examples of under-earning thinking or behavioral choices that, I mean, clearly every one of them is based on fear, so you don't have to do that, but just understand that every one you're writing is based on either fear, selfishness, dishonesty. So write 10 examples of under-earning choices, and on one page or the same page, write 10 examples of how, in practicing steps 6 and 7, you're going to behave and think differently. Even though, and I guarantee it will cause you a little discomfort. And let's take 10 minutes to do that, and then we'll do the same structure that we've been doing all week. Tell yourself, tell your neighbor, tell the room. We'll do a little reading while you continue to write. This is right out of the big book. If you have a resentment you want to be free of, if you pray for that person or the thing that you resent, you will be free. If you ask in prayer for everything you want for yourself to be given to them, you will be free. Ask for their health, their prosperity, their happiness, and you will be free. Even if you really don't want it for them and your prayers are only words and you don't even mean it, go ahead and do it anyway. Do it every day for 2 weeks and you will find you have come to mean it and you'll want it for them. You will realize that where you used to feel bitterness and resentment and hatred, you will now feel compassion, understanding, and love. Worked for me then, it's worked for me many times since. Sometimes I have to ask for the willingness, but it always comes. And because it works for me, it'll work for all of us. The only real freedom a human being can have is doing what you ought to do because it is God's will for you to do it, or because you really want to do it. And that's the funny thing, is if you really do it, after a while you will want to do it. That is on page 552 of the big book. Top of the page. Yes, it is. Freedom from bondage.
Is that edition 4 or 3?
I think it is 4, yeah. And there's another thing about it is that when we were traveling on resentments, we were traveling on fears and guilt and remorse. Yet all these people have powers from God for good for their personalities. God put in each person these powers, these awesome forces within us. There are 2 types of consciousness. There is self-consciousness and God consciousness. Self-consciousness basically talks about fear, pride, sex, resentment. God consciousness is love, tolerance, courage, humility, and wisdom. And as it says in the book, if we're long on fear, we're short on courage. If we're long on faith, we're short on fear. If we're long on resentments, we're short on tolerance. If we're long on love, we're short on resentments. So what 6 and 7 is really about is furthering a God consciousness, rather than a fear-based addict consciousness. But we have to work for it. It doesn't come from just sitting in meetings. It doesn't come from being in face-to-face meetings or land meetings. It doesn't come from having worked thoroughly the steps from 1 to 5. Doesn't. Guy in my AA group always says, man, I could sit here and spout a nice mouthful of spiritual stuff. But if I'm home and I don't take care of my recovery day at a time, I'm going to snap at my wife, I'm going to yell at my kid, I'm going to be gloomy, I'm going to be depressed, I'm going to be walking around. He said, I cannot live today on yesterday's recovery. We can't live today on yesterday's recovery. We can't just go to 12-step meetings and think that's all we have to do. It's very important, but it's not all we have to do. You know, it's just a lot of work, it's recovery, but that's okay. That's okay. Okay, so spend 5 minutes today, 5 minutes right now, talking to your neighbor about some of your earning behaviors and thoughts and how you're going to change that, how you're going to deal with, asking for the raise, going to the job interview. So it's, again, 5 and 5. If Okie dokie. You could find the person you're talking to at breakfast and continue it at breakfast. It's far better doing that. Everyone just find the person that you're talking to at breakfast and continue it, because it's far better discussion and use of that time than talking about how insane yesterday's motions and Okay, I want to suggest what I personally use as a tool that gives me a much better balance and actually practices the principle of step 6 and 7. And I tell you very sincerely, I've been doing it for years, and it does one important thing for me. It creates improved emotional balance. And what it is a gratitude and forgiveness list written out loud. And I do it in a very specific way, and I never, ever change the way I do it. It's very, I'm a very structured person on some level, and that level is in that gratitude list. So every morning, and I write 365 of them a year. I have probably written about 1,000 of them in my life, is that I begin writing 5 things that I'm grateful for. On paper 1. Just write them out. It's got to be done in a very deliberate way or it doesn't work. I found that out also. It always starts with gratitude. 5 things that I'm grateful for. It's important for me to write these down because my mind is like a horse. What I focus on immediately affects how I'm feeling. If I wake up and I think about, really bad things, guess what? My mood's going to go lower and lower and lower to the point where I'll be in a fetal position and watching 8 hours of Ice Road Truckers, which I don't want to do. So, first is 5 gratitudes. On paper sheet B, write a forgiveness list. 5 people, or it could be 5, or just yourself 5 times. And it could also be 7, but I like to keep it simple. So 5 people from the past, the present, that you forgive. And the way the sentences work is that I write, I am grateful for each line. Each one of those 5, I am grateful for. So I'm writing those words, I am grateful for, on each line. On the forgiveness list, I am writing, I forgive, on each line. So it isn't like the heading suffices. It doesn't work that way because I need to tell my own brain and my old brain what I'm doing.
Do you forgive them in your heart, or do you just want to forgive them?
I do. Oh, listen, I'm just writing that every day, doing the best that I can. Sometimes it's in my heart, sometimes in my head. But what it will do will diffuse anger that I wake up with, and it will increase positive energy for the day. And it's also a very good insurance against situational depression. Because when I'm starting the day being grateful, because what is gratitude anyway? Gratitude is an awareness and appreciation of a benefit. Gratitude is an awareness and appreciation of a benefit. So in the first 15 minutes of the day, I focus on benefits. Could be my eyes, my esophagus, business that came in, a friend who called. But again, I write these out, each sentence saying, I am grateful for John calling me yesterday. I am grateful for the money that came in today. I am grateful for my apartment. I am grateful for the beautiful view I have of the Hudson River. Because I need to take my fervid brain and discipline it by focusing on 5 things that I am grateful for. And each sentence reminding my brain that this is about being aware and appreciative of a benefit. That's done on page 1. On page 2, I forgive. I forgive me for wasting time yesterday. I forgive Murray from Murray's Auto Body for lying to me. I forgive Mike for getting angry as often as he does. I forgive me for not responding to him better. It's important to write the gratitudes first because with that I have leverage. I can never write the forgiveness list first thing in the morning. The gratitude list will give me the energy, the spiritual energy to write the forgiveness list. And then I read aloud the forgiveness list. Always read aloud first the forgiveness list, which is my version of at that point eating my vegetables. I got to eat the vegetables before the dessert. Although some people would argue with that, but they're not here today. So I literally read. I'll pick up a sheet of paper and I'll say, I forgive me for wasting time yesterday. I forgive me for freaking out after the cell tanked. I forgive me for not working on my vision. I forgive my stepfather for sleeping in the basement. It can go back, whatever, 40, 50 years or 40, 50 minutes. I forgive the rabbis for hitting me. I forgive my mother for being a mental patient. And then, very quickly, I'll turn it over, and this is exactly how I do it. I'm grateful for my, and I try to, I believe in emotionalizing things, so I don't read it. I'm grateful for the business that I wrote yesterday. I'm grateful for my apartment. I don't do that. I'm grateful for my cat. I'm grateful for my apartment. I'm grateful for the car. I'm grateful for the fact my air conditioner is working. I'm grateful for my beautiful view of the Hudson River. I am grateful for the arms that I have. I'm grateful for my esophagus, and that's why I'm having a great day. And my landlord's saying, knock it off. And I always finish with it, and that's why I'm having a great day. So write that down, and that's why I'm having a great day. And at that point, it is a great day, because I'm not getting into guilt, remorse, self-pity, self-seeking, selfishness, dishonest, and the order and consideration. There. If you want to say something, Crystal, you got to go over there.
Andrew, do you
yes,
live
Crystal.
alone?
Do I live alone?
Yeah.
I do.
Okay.
Is that a proposition?
No, it's just, it's hard to do this when you live with someone.
But it's possible. And what you say to that person is, you want to see me in the best state of mind with you today? You want to be my best today? Go to microphone. Don't speak from there.
Hi, it's Peter, dead on Underearner. I've been married for 29 years. My wife has given me permission to share this. She's been in AA for 34 years. And she does this. I don't do it quite so well. But every morning, she reads her books. And I don't remember which ones exactly, but the 12 and 12, 24-hour book. Big book. I mean, I'm sure you know these books if you're in that program. You might have heard of them if you're not. Living Sober, all the other pieces of literature. She also reads Unity, but she has that quiet time. She finds a quiet space in the apartment. That's her space to read in the mornings. And I don't interrupt. I discovered that very quickly. And that's how you do it when you're married. You negotiate a space with your partner, married, living together. I'm not judging now. When you have a partner, when you're living with someone, when you have a family, it's even more difficult. You've got kids running around. You have that quiet space that's your space, and you have to negotiate it with your partner. You can't just take it. You can't just say, I'm busy, close the door, get out of here. You can't force it on your partner. You have to negotiate it and agree with your partner to have that space and make it clear that this is what I need for my recovery.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you could say, do you want me to be in the best state of mind today with you or not?
That's sort of a threat.
Well, it's the truth. It's the truth. It's a promise. Wouldn't you, honey, Honey, wouldn't you rather me be in the best state of mind with you today? I think you would. Why wouldn't you want the best for me? I want the best for you.
Arlene, Underearner.
Hi, Arlene.
Hi. I'm curious, being addicted to paper and thinking every word I write is profound, do you keep all of your papers and you do the front and the back? I'm curious about the mechanics, and have you saved them and saved them?
No, because then I qualify Clutterers Anonymous. That what I do is I literally get a couple. I always, when I finish it, I literally walk to the closet, put it top of the closet in some drawer up there, and after they begin to stack up, I say, guys, it was great. I bless you. I walk over to the compactor and put it there, because it's not about having, I mean, they basically say similar things every day. I mean, I don't want to think about, 2 months ago, I forgive Irving from, Mandelbaum's Cleaners for lying about, what do I need to read that? No, I basically, again, I do not look at that piece of paper ever again. And when I throw out about 30 at a time, and what I'm seeing, gratitude, forgiveness, it's about tuning up for the day. It's about doing what we can do to help God clear out that channel. And certainly, if you're angry at anyone from yesterday, they absolutely should be on that list. If you're pissed off about anyone from yesterday, they absolutely should be on that forgiveness list. But remember, it's important to do it exactly this way. The reason why is because if you try to write the forgiveness list first, at 6 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, you're going to get bogged down. You're not going to want to do it. So gratitude, it's easier. Yeah, I'm grateful for the house. And it's over. You don't have to be creative. Believe me, it's not. You can do. I'm grateful for my hair. I'm grateful, for the tires on my car. It doesn't matter, because what we're doing is we're saying to the old brain, hey, let's focus on this. It's about taking our brain and driving it, focusing on it, and focusing it towards what we want it to focus to, because it can go in all sorts of gnarly directions, and we don't want that. We want to start that, and that's what about step 6 is. We're working at that point to humbly asking God to remove our shortcomings, our defects of habit. Became entirely willing, and when you're writing gratitude and forgiveness list every morning, you are willing to do that. And it's an excellent way to start the day. It doesn't mean the day is going to go phenomenal, but it means that your balance will be the best it's ever been. Because we're starting the day. The morning, and you can hear this in a lot of motivational speakers, which I'm not going to get into, but basically the morning is the rudder of the day. Here he is. Hey, there's Mike. Hey, Mike. Got his glasses on and everything. The morning is the rudder of the day. So if we, you hear the same, hey, got up on the wrong side of the bed today. This is getting up on the right side of the bed every day. Yeah, go ahead.
Nancy, Underearner, recovering one day at a time. Thank you. Okay, so you're using the principle of willingness, and I've been doing these steps for a long time in another program and now in UA. And one of the things that has come to me, and I guess it's kind of a question, it's like I've been willing forever, but I've been able to be an underearner for a long time too. And so for me, the 6 steps really talks about readiness for the change, ready to accept, readiness of that next movement or action. And so again, it's for me, there's a subtlety of difference between that willingness, which I get in the first 3 steps, and then the readiness in 6.
Right, and no one is entirely willing. And it says that in the 12 and 12. Hey, guess what? We all want to hang on. We don't want to. It's always a matter of using as much spiritual energy as we can to plow. And no day is perfect. We're not living perfect lives. We're not perfect people. But it's, again, the principles are like It's almost like you're going to the health club and you're saying, you know, I want to hit that 10 pounds. Oh, I can't do it today. I'm just hitting 5. You know, I want to do that like 45 minutes on cardio. Well, I can't do 45 today. I'm doing 20. Doing 20 on cardio is better than is laying on the couch and eating donuts. So it's basically going for that spiritual athleticism to really just do what we can do to be in that best state every day. It's a lot of work in recovery. It really is. We really have to, we really get a daily reprieve. But 6 and 7 is all about a daily reprieve. It's all about the maintenance. Again, maintenance. What does maintenance mean? Sweeping the floor, oiling the bicycle, putting water in the coffee maker. It's maintenance. We're maintaining. And this is part of the work of maintaining our spiritual condition. Before we end, anyone have any other questions regarding any of this? Why don't we have one person share? You want to? Good morning.
I'm Mike. I'm under.
Hi. I wondering, do you ever put yourself on the 4-step list?
Every day.
Every day?
Everything, because there's always something that I didn't do yesterday, or should have done yesterday, that I didn't do. And no day is perfect. But I also I'm grateful. Let's say I went to improv class rather than staying home and lying on the couch. I'm saying I'm grateful I went to improv class. If I went to an open mic, I'm grateful I went to the open mic. I'm grateful for the writing. Yeah, so I put down... See, the thing about forgiveness, this is the whole thing. This is the last thing I want to leave you with. Forgiveness is not approval. So when we forgive someone, or we forgive forgive ourselves, we're not approving it. We're not saying it was okay that you didn't show up at our appointment. We're not saying it was okay that you didn't work on your vision. We're saying that we're choosing to let go of the anger towards you or toward that person. We're acknowledging what we didn't do. But we're saying, you know what? I need to take care of myself. I need to take the pebble out of my shoe. I need to take the pebble out of my shoe. I need to take my anger and my resentment, which is blocking my will today. Because this stuff can easily turn into depression. And in terms of our world, it could easily turn into the worst thing about bottom and UA, wasted time, inertia, wasted time, sulking, silent sulking, self-reproach, inertia, depression, situational depression, overeating, which could create, again, then all of a sudden, then the next day, then where am I going? And then it's just creating this horrible thing. Anyway, so these are the tools. Tomorrow, if we're here, guys, we're going to be working on 8-9. Let's end this with a serenity prayer. God, grant us the serenity, accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Thank you for letting me be of service.
Okay, this is how I prepare my drone for launching. I like to do it inside the cab of my truck so I'm not standing outside in the weather. To install the joysticks for control, up and down, right and left, powered on. I have an Android phone that I use to connect it to the drone with. And it's actually controlled through the iPhone, through an app. Oops, wrong way. It's actually controlled through the iPhone, or through this Android phone, through the app. It's actually controlled through the Android phone, through an app, and you connect it through this short connection right here.
Remote control connected.
Remote control is connected. So I pull out the drone. I have to extend the legs. Long legs extended first, then the short legs. Remove the gimbal protector. Set that aside, then power it on one short burst, then one long burst. I lay it down. So I have to go to calibrate. So the drone's not connected yet. It shows you here as this drone gets disconnected, even though the remote's powered on. So the drone has to establish it's connected. So I go into the app to calibration mode. First I'll calibrate the remote controller. Start calibration. Out, in, out, in, up, down, and then this little wheel is to control the gimbal. So it's calibrated. Go to gimbal calibration, start calibration, and then it calibrates the gimbal. If that shows up, the gimbal's moving all over the place. Changes, you can see it on the video. And I'm calibrated to take off. It's acquired 7 satellites at the moment. There are 26 satellites up in the sky, which it has to acquire before you can take off. So it's connected. It's got enough satellites. This is white. I can go to press this little arrow button, swipe right to take off, and it would start the motors if I slid this to the right, but I'll wait till I get outside. Don't want to do it inside.